The bed felt like clouds compared to her thin mattress at home. Clean sheets smelled of lavender. Through the window, she could see Seoul's lights twinkling like earthbound stars. Maybe just for one night, she whispered, exhaustion finally overwhelming her. We can pretend we belong in this world for one single night, little one. She fell asleep wondering if Min-jun would truly return, or if this would become another broken promise in a life filled with disappointments. But across the city, in a hospital operating room, Min-jun was indeed thinking of her, the mysterious delivery worker who'd somehow become the mother of his child, the woman whose genuine tears had finally convinced him that not everything in life could be controlled or predicted by family expectations. The woman who'd already changed his carefully planned future in ways he was only beginning to comprehend. The following morning, Ji-hye awakened to discover she wasn't alone. An older woman sat in the chair beside her hospital bed, elegant and perfectly poised despite the early hour. You're awake, the woman observed with a warm smile. I'm Mrs. Kang, Min-jun's mother. I believe you delivered medicine to our home several months ago? Ji-hye's heart began racing with panic. This was the woman who'd unknowingly set everything in motion. This was Min-jun's mother, who surely expected her son to marry someone from their social stratosphere, not a struggling delivery worker. Mrs. Kang, Ji-hye stammered, attempting to sit up respectfully. I apologize for any trouble I've caused your family. Trouble, Mrs. Kang's smile widened genuinely. My dear girl, you're carrying my grandchild. That's not trouble, that's a blessing I've been praying for. Ji-hye blinked in confusion. This wasn't the reaction she'd anticipated at all. My son explained the entire situation, Mrs. Kang continued, reaching out to take Ji-hye's hand gently. The misunderstanding that night, your struggles these past months, everything. I'm truly sorry you faced this alone when you should have been surrounded by support and care. You're not disappointed? Ji-hye asked cautiously. That I'm not from a prominent family or a wealthy background. Mrs. Kang laughed softly, the sound kind rather than mocking. I care about character, not bank accounts, dear. My son tells me you've been working delivery jobs while pregnant, saving everyone for your baby's future, refusing to give up despite impossible circumstances. That demonstrates more strength and integrity than any prestigious family name could provide. Tears gathered in Ji-hye's eyes again. She seemed to cry constantly lately. You're being incredibly kind to me. Your family now, Mrs. Kang stated simply, as though it were the most obvious fact in the world. The mother of my grandchild, and if my son has any sense at all, you'll become my daughter-in-law as well. Now, let's discuss getting you properly settled. Settled? Ji-hye repeated uncertainly. You cannot continue living in inadequate conditions, Mrs. Kang explained practically. I've arranged for you to stay at our family home in Hanam-dong. We have excellent medical staff, comfortable rooms, and you'll want for nothing during the remainder of your pregnancy. That's far too generous, Ji-hye protested, overwhelmed. I cannot possibly accept such hospitality. You can and you will, Mrs. Kang said firmly, though her smile remained warm. For the baby's health, if not your own comfort. Besides, I've already had your belongings collected from your previous residence. Ji-hye's eyes widened. You did what? Nothing permanent, Mrs. Kang assured her quickly. Simply moved your possessions to our home temporarily. If you're truly miserable after a few days, we can discuss alternative arrangements. But please, give us the opportunity to care for you properly. You've been alone too long, dear. The genuine concern in the older woman's voice finally broke through Ji-hye's resistance. She thought of her cold, tiny apartment with its thin walls and unreliable heating. She thought of the baby growing inside her, deserving better than she could currently provide alone. For the baby's sake, she agreed softly. I'll stay temporarily, if you're certain I won't be imposing on your family. Imposing, Mrs. Kang laughed again, standing gracefully. You're giving me my first grandchild. You could never impose. Now rest a bit longer. Min-jun will arrive soon to discharge you, and we'll get you settled properly at home. After Mrs. Kang departed, Ji-hye lay back against the pillows, her mind whirling with disbelief. In less than 24 hours, her entire world had transformed from desperate and alone to supported and welcomed. It felt like a beautiful dream she might awaken from at any moment. Is this real, little one? She whispered to her baby. Are we truly being given a chance at something better? The baby kicked in response, and Jihai chose to interpret it as agreement. For the first time in months, she allowed herself to feel genuine hope instead of constant fear. Maybe, just maybe, everything would somehow work out after all. Min Jun arrived an hour later, looking exhausted from his night shift at the hospital but maintaining his professional composure. Oma convinced you to accept our family's hospitality? He asked, reviewing her discharge paperwork. She's very persuasive, Jihai admitted, and very kind, which surprised me honestly. She's wanted grandchildren for years, Min Jun explained, a slight smile tugging at his lips. You've made her extremely happy, even under these unusual circumstances. And you? Jihai asked quietly. Have I made you happy or simply complicated your carefully planned life? Min Jun paused in his paperwork review, finally meeting her eyes directly. Honestly, I don't know yet. This situation isn't what I anticipated for myself. But our baby deserves the best possible life we can provide together. So we'll figure it out, Jihai. One day at a time. It wasn't a declaration of love or even affection, but it was honest, and somehow that mattered more to Jihai than empty romantic promises would have. One day at a time, she agreed softly. I can work with that approach. As they left the hospital together, Min Jun's hand accidentally brushed against hers in the elevator. Neither of them pulled away, and that small connection felt like a tentative step towards something neither could define yet. The Kang family's estate in Hanam-dong was even more magnificent in daylight than Jihai remembered from her delivery visit. Gardens stretched in carefully cultivated beauty, fountains sparkled in the sunshine, and the main house itself resembled something from a historical drama. This is where I'll be staying? Jihai breathed, overwhelmed. Your room is prepared on the second floor, Min Jun informed her, guiding her inside with a gentle hand on her lower back. Oma has already stocked it with everything she believes you might need. The room took Jihai's breath away completely. Decorated in soft pastels with furniture more expensive than everything she'd owned in her entire life combined, it looked like a sanctuary designed specifically for peace and comfort. Come, dear. Mrs. Kang appeared in the doorway, beaming. I've prepared something special I want to show you. She led Jihai to an adjoining room that had been transformed into a nursery. A beautiful crib stood beside a changing table, shelves held tiny clothes and toys, and soft rugs covered the polished floor. These are for the baby, Mrs. Kang explained unnecessarily, her excitement evident. Please look through everything and let me know if I've forgotten anything important. Jihai couldn't speak past the emotional lump in her throat. She'd grown up with no one truly caring about her well-being after her parents' death. But now her baby had so many people ready to provide love and support before even arriving in the world. What's wrong? Mrs. Kang asked with concern, noticing Jihai's tears. You don't appreciate the selections I made? No, Jihai managed to say through her emotion. These are absolutely perfect. It's just overwhelming kindness. I'm not accustomed to receiving such generosity. Mrs. Kang pulled her into a gentle hug, careful of her pregnant belly. You better become accustomed to it quickly, dear. This family takes care of its own, and you're one of us now. Speaking of which, I have something else for you. She led Jihai back to the main bedroom and opened a large wardrobe Jihai hadn't noticed before. Inside hung dozens of beautiful maternity clothes in various styles and colors. I've arranged for appropriate clothing as well, Mrs. Kang explained. You cannot continue wearing worn-out work uniforms. These should be comfortable while still being lovely. This is far too much, Jihai protested weakly, though her fingers couldn't resist touching the soft fabric of a particularly beautiful dress. Nonsense, Mrs. Kang dismissed her concern. Select what appeals to you and try them on. After the baby arrives, I'll purchase you an entirely new wardrobe then as well. This one would look perfect on you, she added, pulling out an elegant but comfortable-looking outfit. Do you appreciate it? Yes, Jihai whispered. It's absolutely precious. Mrs. Kang smiled with satisfaction. Excellent. Now there's one more matter to address. Take these items to Min Jun's room, please. She instructed a servant who'd appeared with Jihai's few belongings. She'll be staying there with him. It will be simpler for him to care for her during nighttime if any complications arise. Jihai's eyes widened in shock, stay in Min-jun's room. But I cannot possibly, of course you'll reside with Min-jun, Mrs. Kang stated as though it were perfectly logical. He's the baby's father. Naturally, you should share accommodations so he can properly attend to your needs during pregnancy. Oma, Min-jun protested from the doorway, his expression conflicted. Perhaps Ji-hai would prefer her own private space for now? Don't be ridiculous. His mother dismissed his concern. You're both adults expecting a child together. Sharing a room is perfectly appropriate under these circumstances. Now, I have arrangements to finalize for tomorrow. You two get settled and rest. She swept out of the room with the authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed, leaving Min-jun and Ji-hai staring at each other awkwardly. I can request alternative sleeping arrangements if this makes you uncomfortable, Min-jun offered quietly. Don't feel obligated to accept everything Oma suggests. Where will you sleep if I take your room? Ji-hai asked practically. I'll use the sofa. It's perfectly comfortable, he assured her. Ji-hai noticed the fatigue in his eyes, the tension in his shoulders from his overnight shift at the hospital. He'd already sacrificed his sleep to ensure she received proper medical care. The least she could do was not force him onto a sofa in his own home. The bed appears large enough to share, she said hesitantly. If you're comfortable with that arrangement, I can tolerate it as well. We're both mature adults, as your mother indicated. Min-jun studied her expression carefully. You're certain? I don't want you feeling pressured into anything that causes discomfort. I'm certain, Ji-hai confirmed, though her heart raced nervously at the prospect. That evening, after an elaborate dinner where Mrs. Kang and Min-jun's younger brother Jae-sung welcomed her warmly to the family, Ji-hai found herself standing in Min-jun's bedroom, suddenly uncertain about everything. The room was masculine but tasteful, decorated in deep blues and grays. The massive bed dominated the space, looking both inviting and terrifying simultaneously. Would you like to do more than simply look at the bed? Min-jun asked with the faintest hint of amusement in his voice. Ji-hai jumped slightly, realizing she'd been staring. I cannot. I'm pregnant. Yes, I was actually referring to sleeping, Min-jun clarified, his lips twitching with suppressed laughter. Not whatever you were imagining. I'll take the sofa here. You should rest on the bed properly. Embarrassment flooded Ji-hai's cheeks with heat. What's wrong with me? Stop it, Ji-hai, she scolded herself internally. Last time was an accident and he was affected by medicine. He's completely out of your social class. Stop entertaining impossible fantasies. But as she settled into the incredibly comfortable bed and watched Min-jun arrange blankets on the sofa across the room, she couldn't help feeling that her life had become something from a dream, impossible and beautiful and terrifying all at once. Thank you, she whispered into the darkness after he turned off the lights. For everything today, for believing me, for this kindness. Sleep well, Ji-hai, Min-jun replied softly. Tomorrow we'll discuss plans for the future, but tonight, just rest. As Ji-hai drifted towards sleep, she heard him add even more quietly, thank you for protecting our baby when I didn't even know to help. You're stronger than you realize. Her heart swelled with emotion, and she touched her belly gently. Did you hear that, little one? Your appa is beginning to understand. Maybe everything will truly be fine after all. The following morning, Ji-hai awakened to find sunlight streaming through the expensive curtains and the delicious aroma of breakfast wafting from somewhere in the house. Min-jun had already departed for his hospital shift, leaving a note on the bedside table. Oma will ensure you eat properly. Don't refuse her care doctor's orders. I'll return this evening. Rest and take care of yourself and our baby. Min-jun, Ji-hai pressed a note to her chest, treasuring the simple words more than he could possibly know. Good morning, dear. Mrs. Kang greeted her warmly when Ji-hai ventured downstairs. Come eat breakfast. The chef prepared everything considering your pregnancy nutritional requirements. The dining table held enough food for 10 people, all of it looking absolutely delicious and far beyond anything Ji-hai normally consumed. This is too much, she protested automatically. You're eating for 2 now, Mrs. Kang reminded her with a smile. Besides, you're far too thin. We need to ensure both you and my grandchild receive proper nourishment. Now eat, dear. Don't make me concerned. As Ji-hai ate, Mrs. Kang chatted pleasantly about nursery preparations, baby names, and her excitement about becoming a grandmother. The warmth and acceptance felt almost surreal after months of facing everything alone. "Oh, I nearly forgot," Mrs. Kang suddenly exclaimed. "You have that college gathering this afternoon, don't you? I heard you mentioning it to Min Jun earlier. You should absolutely attend and see your friends." "I can take a taxi," Ji-hai offered quickly. "I don't want to impose on anyone's schedule." "Absolutely not," Mrs. Kang declared firmly. "You're pregnant. We cannot risk anything happening to you or the baby. Min Jun will transport you there safely." "But he mentioned having an important meeting this afternoon," Ji-hai remembered. "I don't want to disrupt his professional obligations." "I'll reschedule his meeting," Mrs. Kang stated with the confidence of someone accustomed to making such decisions. "Your safety takes priority over everything else." When Min Jun returned home that afternoon specifically to drive Ji-hai to her college gathering, he didn't appear frustrated by the schedule change. Instead, he seemed almost pleased to have the excuse. "You don't have to wear anything elaborate," he told her as she hesitated over the new wardrobe. "Select whatever feels comfortable. However, I want you wearing supportive shoes. Swelling during pregnancy is no trivial matter. Do you understand? Don't hesitate to request anything you need, correct?" His concern touched Ji-hai deeply. "Thank you for caring about these details." "Of course I care," Min Jun replied, his expression softening. "That's my child you're carrying. Both of you matter to me." As they drove toward the university, Ji-hai noticed the expensive shoes Mrs. Kang had provided, designer brands she'd only seen in magazine advertisements. They felt like walking on clouds compared to her worn-out sneakers. "Those are the summer limited edition Valentino," Min Jun commented, noticing her glancing at them. "Oma has excellent taste in footwear. They should provide proper support for your feet." "They must have cost a fortune," Ji-hai murmured, suddenly nervous about wearing something so valuable. "They cost exactly what you're worth," Min Jun corrected gently, "which is priceless. Don't worry about money anymore, Ji-hai. That burden isn't yours to carry alone now." When they arrived at the college campus, Ji-hai's former roommate Lucy came running over with excitement, hugging her carefully around her pregnant belly. "Ji-hai, I've missed you so much. Look at you, you're glowing," Lucy exclaimed happily. "I've missed you too," Ji-hai replied with genuine warmth. Lucy had been her only true friend during her brief college attendance. "Isn't that the girl who exchanged intimacy for money?" A sharp voice suddenly cut through the reunion. Ji-hai turned to see Sydney, another former classmate, staring at her with obvious contempt alongside several other students. "So shameless," Sydney continued loudly, clearly wanting others to hear. "If I were in her position, I would probably remove myself from public view permanently." "Yeah," another girl agreed mockingly. "Although wait, look at her footwear. Aren't those the summer limited edition Valentino? They cost almost 40 million won and are nearly impossible to obtain." "They must be counterfeit." "Exactly," Sydney laughed cruelly. "The authentic ones are damaged by rainwater. It's supposed to rain today according to the forecast, so there's no possibility she'd wear genuine ones. Obviously they're fake like everything else about her." Ji-hai's heart sank. These shoes had cost 40 million won? She looked down at them with new horror. "What if I damaged them? How would I ever repay such an enormous amount?" "Ji-hai, ignore them," Lucy said firmly, taking her arm supportively. "Come join the gathering and have fun with people who actually appreciate you." But Sydney moved to block their path, her expression full of malicious satisfaction. "Look at her pregnant belly. I guess the rumors must be accurate. That she attended college specifically to target wealthy older men for child support payments. That's absolutely not true," Lucy defended her friend immediately. "Sydney, we were roommates. Ji-hai has always helped you, has always been kind and generous to you. How can you spread such horrible lies about her?" "Oh, am I supposed to care about hurting someone like her?" Sydney sneered. "She's damaging the reputation of our entire university with her actions." "Enough," Ji-hai said quietly, her voice shaking but firm. "The father of my child isn't some elderly man. This baby is loved and cared for, not some tool for financial gain as you're suggesting." "Then tell everyone who the father is," Sydney challenged mockingly. "Prove us wrong if you can." Ji-hai hesitated. If she revealed Min Jun's identity, would it create negative publicity for the Kang family? Would it harm his professional reputation? She couldn't risk causing him problems after all his kindness. I thought so. Sydney laughed triumphantly. She cannot identify who the father is because she probably doesn't even know herself. How pathetic. If I'm not welcome here, I see no reason to remain, Ji-hai said with as much dignity as she could gather. Goodbye, Lucy. I'm sorry for the disruption. Ji-hai, wait! Lucy called, but Ji-hai was already walking away, tears threatening to spill. As she reached the campus entrance, the sky suddenly opened with rain just as predicted. Ji-hai looked down at the expensive shoes with dismay, remembering what the girls had said about them being damaged by water. Min-jun gave me these. I cannot ruin them the first time wearing them, she thought desperately, stepping under a small overhang for shelter. Behind her, Sydney's mocking laughter rang out. Look at her treating her counterfeit shoes like they're authentic. How ridiculous. What are you doing? Another girl called out. Just checking to see if your precious fake shoes survive rain exposure. What's wrong? Are you scared for us to witness how fake they truly are? Oh, absolutely, Sydney added with cruel amusement. Because if that were to happen, her entire little scheme would be exposed and then she'd break down crying like a child. Fake is fake, after all. So, Cinderella, where's your pumpkin carriage to rescue you? That's none of your concern, Ji-hai replied quietly, hugging herself against the cold rain. She's waiting for her wealthy benefactor to collect her, isn't she? One girl laughed. This should be entertaining to observe. Ji-hai pulled out her phone to call a taxi, willing herself not to cry in front of these cruel spectators. But before she could complete the call, a sleek black luxury car pulled up directly in front of her. The door opened, and Min-jun stepped out with an umbrella, his expression dark with barely controlled frustration as he took in the scene. Ji-hai soaking wet, surrounded by mocking students. Why are you standing barefoot? He demanded, noticing immediately that she'd removed the expensive shoes to protect them. Without waiting for her answer, he swept her up into his arms effortlessly, carrying her toward the car while holding the umbrella over both of them. The shoes, Ji-hai protested. They said rain damages them. I didn't want to ruin the gift you gave me. You know, when Oma gave me this umbrella, she said it was for protection and care, Min-jun replied, his voice gentle despite his obvious anger at the situation. So if the shoes got wet, perhaps they were simply protecting you by keeping you stationary until I arrived. Don't apologize for small things, understand? There is nothing in this entire world that is more precious than you and our baby. He settled her carefully in the passenger seat before turning to address the stunned students watching this scene unfold. Sydney, isn't your boyfriend supposedly extremely wealthy? One girl whispered loudly. Is that his vehicle? Sydney replied with forced confidence. He didn't mention coming, but he's probably here to surprise me with a romantic gesture. Not too loud, everyone. You'll make some people jealous with my good fortune. Min-jun's expression could have frozen fire as he approached the group directly, his expensive suit and commanding presence making his wealth and status immediately obvious. I believe there's been a significant misunderstanding here, he said coldly. Allow me to clarify the situation for everyone present. He turned to face Sydney directly. Are you the person who's been spreading malicious rumors about Ji-hai? The woman who just mocked her for protecting expensive shoes from rain damage? Sydney's face paled slightly, but she maintained her bravado. I don't know who you are, but you should know I know exactly who she is. Min-jun interrupted sharply. She's the mother of my child. She's the woman I care about. And she's someone you will never disrespect again if you value your future prospects. The courtyard fell completely silent, everyone staring in shock. You're Ji-hai's boyfriend? Sydney stammered, her confident mask crumbling. I'm significantly more than that, Min-jun corrected. I'm Dr. Kang Min-jun, chief surgeon at Seoul Medical Center and heir to Kang Industries. And those fake shoes you mocked? They're authentic Valentino, worth 40 million won, which I personally selected for Ji-hai because only the best is suitable for the woman carrying my child. He pulled out his phone and made a brief call. Yes, this is Dr. Kang. I need legal representation at Seoul National University immediately. We have a defamation case to address. Multiple witnesses to slander against my family. Sydney's face transformed from pale to ashen. Wait, please. I didn't understand the situation. I apologize sincerely, Dr. Kang. Ji-hai, please. We were roommates. We lived together for years. You have to help me tell him I didn't mean any real harm. You know, I understand people like you, Min Jun said coldly. Ones who need to learn consequences the difficult way. There are some individuals who don't deserve compassion or second chances after deliberately causing pain to others. He turned to address the gathered crowd. Anyone who mistreated Ji-hai today should leave this campus immediately. You're no longer welcome at any function my family sponsors, and we sponsor quite a few university programs here. Consider your scholarships and opportunities carefully. Please. I'm so sorry, Sydney begged, tears streaming down her face now. I made a terrible mistake. Please forgive me. But Min Jun had already returned to the car, sliding into the driver's seat beside Ji-hai without another glance at the students. I apologize for causing such a scene, Ji-hai whispered as they drove away. You didn't need to defend me so strongly. Yes, I absolutely did, Min Jun replied firmly. No one treats you that way. Not while I'm capable of preventing it. You're under my protection now, Ji-hai. Both you and our baby. People need to understand that clearly. Ji-hai looked at him with wonder, seeing not just the wealthy heir or the skilled doctor, but a man who just publicly claimed her in front of everyone despite the social differences between them. Thank you, she said softly, her heart feeling dangerously full. You don't need to thank me for basic decency, Min Jun replied, but his hand found hers and squeezed gently. You deserve respect and kindness, Ji-hai. I'm sorry it took me so long to demonstrate that properly. As they drove through Seoul's streets back toward the Kang family estate, Ji-hai realized something profound had shifted between them. They were no longer just two people connected by an accidental pregnancy. They were becoming partners, learning to protect and care for each other. And perhaps, she thought hopefully, they might even be falling in love slowly, carefully, but genuinely. Where are we going? Ji-hai asked when she noticed Min Jun wasn't driving toward Hanam-dong. I have somewhere special to take you, he replied mysteriously. Something I've been planning. He pulled up to an elegant event venue in Gangnam, its exterior decorated with subtle white flowers and soft lighting despite being afternoon. What is this place? Ji-hai asked with confusion.